I think there's no question that technology is changing the nature of work in America. It's making it more piecemeal, more unreliable. It's taking these full-time jobs that were 40 hours a week with benefits, pensions, etc., and turning them into minimum wage jobs where you have irregular scheduling at 25 hours a week if you're lucky.
There's been some advances in a field particularly called machine learning that allow us to solve certain classes of problems that we haven't been able to solve before. By using these techniques, we're going to be able to give our machines the robotic equivalent of eyes and ears, so they'll be able to interact with their environment in ways that only today people can do.
There's an open question around whether or not AI and machine learning is going to destroy jobs altogether in the future. Obviously, lots of people out here in Silicon Valley believe that's true. I don't know. There's a good argument for it, and there are really good arguments against it. My view is that we don't really need to know whether or not that's going to happen. We don't need to rely on a crystal ball to know that we need a basic income today. The key thing that unites all the different usages of the term basic income is the idea that recurring cash grants with no strings attached can help people live fuller and better lives. Basic income can be small amounts of money, or it can be larger and more bold visions. Particularly in the technology community, a lot of people are more interested in a benefit that's like $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year that is seen as a way of compensating for some of the changes that machine learning, artificial intelligence, and automation in general are having on our economy.
Like previous waves of automation, it is certainly true that certain people who are identifiable in certain professions will be negatively impacted, meaning there'll be less employment, there'll be de-skilling, and they will be out of a job. We as a society have to make a certain set of decisions about how much we want to invest in finding ways to retrain those people to make sure that they can remain productive in the workforce.
In the world that I live in, we strengthen the existing safety net that attacks the problems of poverty head on, and in addition to that, we provide a basic income for every middle class and poor American. And I think you can finance it through either higher taxes on the wealthy or the introduction of a kind of wealth tax at the federal level. A small wealth tax of 1.5% on people who have incomes of more than $1 million would more than cover a basic income for every American of about $500 a month.
It's perfectly reasonable to do some experiments, and then we can see how does it really work for our society? How does it affect our taxes? How well can we afford it? What does happen with these people?
I think you've got to look at the data and the research, which shows very clearly that when you provide people moderate amounts of cash, they work just as much as they did before, if not more. Of course, there's nearly 200 studies internationally that show that. But here in the United States, we have immense evidence of this. There have been basic income experiments with thousands of people in places like Iowa, New Jersey, Seattle, Denver, North Carolina, etc. We have the basic income up in the state of Alaska. And if you look at all of these implementations, what you see is that people work just as much, if not more. Not a silver bullet. We still need, the YMCA on the block for kids to have somewhere to go. We still need great schools, etc. But if you're trying to invest from a philanthropic or from a societal perspective, you'd do better to invest or to think seriously about investing cash first before we talk about many of these other benefits.
It's fairly straightforward to run these experiments, and I think that over the next 5 to 10 years, we probably can get a pretty good idea. Rather than having a preordained view based upon your religious background or your political views, let's go find out.